Now he has Zerker Greaves plus the Vamp Scepter, and that's really all you need as long as the Ezreal isn't massively ahead to be able to kind of shrug off the Mystic Shocks that you cannot dodge. So FBI feeling really comfortable down there. They're winning across the map, and things looking really, really good here for 100 Thieves. Plus the fact that Huhi is this far ahead of the curve. It'll be interesting to see where he goes, and maybe just going to go straight up for like Chem Tank because he does have the Balmy Cinder and is going to be completing that Mythic item a lot more quickly than you usually would.
Oh, there we go. Aggressive wards now for Team Liquid's side. They are really pushing in and trying to make sure the bottom side of the map can be theirs, and they can maybe look for a mid dive or a collapse on bot, something like this. Right now it's not happening. Mid lane is pushed in. Turret plates fall. 100 Thieves claimed all of them in the top lane. Not too much gain from either side since then. And we just look at a nice sort of calming mid game now where Dragon's not alive for 4 minutes. Rift Herald's gone for a little while as well. Just push the waves back and forth, wait for the next big play. So far, everyone's safe enough to not be easily dove. Jenkins clearly on his side of the map. It's so hard to get an expedition over there that he's probably not the next target either.
Yep, looking like Shieldbow here from FBI potentially. I do like the option. Yes, of course, you can go Kraken Slayer and really kind of index on super high damage, but it's not such a tanky team that I think you need it. I think it's actually more important to have the survivability to allow yourself to play aggressive and not just get one shot.
Yep, Closer tries in. They're going to get Core JJ taken down. He's looking for the blue buff, and that's not going to happen. He closer to the top, buys a bit of time. Gets the health bars a bit lower, certainly better than the last one, but it's still a kick back, and 100 Thieves owning the territory.
Yep, 100 Thieves just pressing that advantage. They know they're ahead, and Jensen now on the run.
Stunned up, takes some decent damage on a half HP. Without a lot of ultis available, he's really not afraid someday, and gets to walk in. Closer clears out mid. Turret's not to be attacked just yet, but the scoreboard keeps inching up farther and farther. Closer, very rich.
I mean, when you're already behind and you lose control of your jungle, it's kind of that doomsday scenario because you're just going to get more and more and more behind. So TL, if 100 Thieves are playing like this, you've got to pick your moment where you're willing to take a stand and try to fight for something, because otherwise you're just going to passively lose out. I mean, 100 Thieves are farming all of their jungle camps, some of their opponents' jungle camps. They're getting the objectives, and they're just getting themselves into this really, really comfortable spot. I don't feel like TL have any sort of massive scaling advantage that they can really rely on, so it's going to have to be somewhat about playmaking, which becomes tough because they don't really have a lot of hard engage, right? It's like a Braum ulti or a Viego stun. Like, these are not inspiring abilities as far as the hard engage, so you're looking more for like 1v1 outplays. Can Jensen get a side lane advantage with his Blade the Rune King, this kind of duelist style build? Can Jenkins get a solo kill? You're looking for those types of things to try to buy you time and claw your way back into the game.
All right, now, bot is maybe the target of this one, as Core JJ, Tactical, and Santorin over here. You can see Closer in Fog of War, waiting nearby. The mid laner, Someday, outside control ward range, in Fog of War, waiting nearby. If there's a dive, he's going to be there. You can flash the wall, dive in, and make it happen. Tactical takes some decent damage. FBI definitely win those trades. I mean, if you're in front of a minion wave, missing shot literally can't hit you. The flash stun comes. They want Core. They're going to find a double slow. Tactical, despite his flash, still gets hit up. Equalizer only going to find the tank. And here comes the dive. Closer is in and does what his name suggests. He's going to take it down. He won't settle for anything. Gets the triple kill. And it's now Jensen left alone. Jumps in for a bunch, so keep in mind he has taken Set's body over. And he's going to go for a third himself. Doing so much work as Jenkins joins in as well. What a beautiful turnaround by Team Liquid.
Jensen, the hero here, as it's the 5v4 for TL in the bottom lane. Abadaga does not have his teleport. He cannot join. Could have been a very different story if not for that, but Jensen coming up huge, gets the triple, and the added man. As we can watch this one more time, they're trying to dive past onto Tactical, which is very risky. I feel like maybe you could have just played this out a little bit more slowly, but FBI flashing into the back line, he gets stunned up by that Braum passive. Santorin is on top of him with the overheat, so he just gets deleted. But then Closer on one side is dominating the competition. On the other, it's all about Jensen. And now, again, going for a play.
Forward hop, flash kick, Tactical attacked. He's going to jump the wall, gets a Braum for safety, and will stop taking damage. Lethan follows, but that is a bit too much. Abadaga just gives it over. And Jenkins could want a bit more, but without the ulti available, Ignite won't kill. So can't chase for anything above that. 100 Thieves only with only a 2-kill lead now since one is handed back. TL have nearly clawed their way back into this game.
The blind monk definitely looking like he had the shades on there, as taking that one back in was really dangerous. They want to go for the re-engage.
Tactical is a pretty easy target. Jumps in the second time. Ult afterwards. I love the mechanics. Closer played that one so beautifully. Azonius at the right time. And FBI crits him down. Oh, that fight was absolutely beautiful by 100 Thieves.
Closer, you are out of your mind. This man is cracked on Diana Free.
Woo!
7-1-2. The perfect timing on the stasis to immune the R2 from the Akali. He is finding engage after engage. He is absolutely popping off here against Team Liquid.
That was so beautiful. And I can't say it another way. That was outstanding. I want it in like 1/4 speed once the fight really begins.
Yeah, we can see this one more time. They start out onto Huhi. Closer coming in, though. Creates space here as he hits the Q onto Tactical right in. Notice how he actually holds the ulti. He feels that they have the kill. Then he's back in as Tactical steps forward, baiting him in. Gets the ulti on multiple members. Then getting focused here by Jenkins. The perfect timing on the stopwatch, the emote mechanics. You love to see it if you're a 100 Thieves fan, because Closer is just roasting him. I mean, this is early in the game. We're at 19 minutes. He's a jungle Diana. He's got 2 full items, and he already has a large rod on top, 10 stacks on the Dark Seal. He is so fed.
Yeah. Who's got more kills? A like several $1 million salaried team or one Turkish boy? Right now, technically, it's Team Liquid. Technically. Yes, but let's be clear.
You didn't do the quick maths on that one.
7, 8, who can say? They're close together. One's bigger than the other, I don't know.
All right, it's time for Bad Grandpa.
I was counting in binary. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, all right. Guilty.
Yeah, that's definitely how that one works.
Okay, we got 2 items here on FBI. He did go for the shield bow. I like the build. Shield bow into PD. Really strong in these kind of scrappy scenarios. Again, I don't think you need to min-max on absolute highest DPS. You just need to make sure you're not getting 100 to 0'd. And it's going to be a tough climb back for TL if they can make one at all. Closing in on a 6,000 gold lead is 100 Thieves. They've got the 2 dragons. And the question on my mind is, can TL find some sort of an outplay, some sort of a solo kill in a side lane to buy time? It feels like that is the window in for them. Jensen has a fantastic build for dueling. If he can get an isolated 1v1 against Someday or maybe Abadaga, I think he can still win out in those scenarios. So it feels like he's got to get a lot of heavy lifting done for his squad. But if that doesn't happen prior to this next dragon, I'm not sure that TL are even going to be in a spot where they can challenge for this soul point. They're probably going to have to wait till it is literally Ocean Soul on the line, which is usually just a game closer.
Yeah, I mean, as it's been going, 100 Thieves have been making the better plays anyway. But yeah, I mean, how do you do it, right? At this point, you don't want to fight 5K down. That's almost a suicide push. But you don't want to fight when it's 7K down because it's going to push more turrets. But yeah, you have to at some point delay the ocean play, and maybe you hope there's a misplay somewhere down the line. It's a tough spot to be in. I mean, ultimately, that's what it comes down to is everyone's going to have their own subjective opinion of, like, when's the moment? And sometimes you wait for it and it never shows. Sometimes you force it and it was too early, and it's a tough one. So and TL, yeah, they'll try.
To me, these scenarios become... There's no good fight anymore, right? So you have to basically evaluate, okay, what are our chances to play this game and win it from standard? And I put that generously at 5%, right? Yeah. And then you say, okay, if there is something that is better than 5%, you just take it. You're not looking for the 50% play anymore because this game is far from an even. You are looking for the 10%, the 20% chance where you can maybe find an outplay, where you can maybe find that miracle pick into a team fight win and scrape your way back in, because that is better than the odds you currently have. So TL have got to look for their moment, got to be decisive, and we'll see if they can pull a rabbit out of the hat.
Can hope. Can the magic happen again? Will they get the big comeback? Right now, we're waiting as the timer ticks down. 80 seconds on the Ocean Drake. That'll be 100 Thieves looking for it. Jensen walking in, clearing the wave. TL get first dibs on mid, but doesn't really mean anything. They can go for wards. For now, the bottom river looks a little bit blue, so, you know, turn that red a little bit. They get a control ward down to the bottom side of mid, for example. Make that one happen. Baron doesn't seem to be an enticing target. Both teams have, you know, kind of dueling control wards to see it, so neither team's going to feel in danger there.
Yeah, but it's now over 7,000 gold, right?
Yeah.
They have lost all but one outer tower, and Closer's on the wraparound here. He wants Tactical.
Tactical and Core are going to be easy targets. The double stun comes in. They've certainly found Braum. Tactical flashes, and it's going to be Core, whatever they have to as well. FBI getting a bit low, has to flash away. Core so low, though, and it's Diana getting the setup. Why even walk back in? It's going to be 2 already. Azonia is going to keep Closer alive for now, but could easily be re-attacked. But no, it's going to be Rumble dying even before that point. It's a beautiful fight. 100 Thieves engage it. They get a 4 for nothing as Abbedagge knocks down Jenkins, and Viego can just watch his ruined kingdom fall again around him. Baron ready to be taken.
Yeah, they're going to be onto the Baron, and Vayne will make short work of this. The re-engage from Closer there. 4 men caught in the ulti. The peel from Abbedagge as well as Azonia ends. He kicks the one person who could have killed him over the wall. Jensen's going to go maybe for some sort of a hero play, but it's a 1 in a million at this point. He will have to slink away as 100 Thieves grab the Red Bull Baron. And they are in full control, playing so well. We can watch this one more time. Again, good positioning on the flank here on the top side from Someday as well as Closer. Tactical going the only way he could. He starts it up. And as they kite back here, TL naturally groups. And then Closer sees his moment. It's 4 members stack, flash, Ian and Mult immediately. Hit them all with the ulti here. And then watch Abbedagge. It's the stun into the wall with the condemn, and then as the Zonia's is ending there from Closer, he just kicks him over the wall, so denies the shutdown going over there to Santorin. Abbedagge playing really well here with Closer, the mid-jungle duo, and this one, you know it's all about the jungle. You've got to protect the Diana. That is 1,000 gold shutdown you don't want to give over, but I mean, now they got Baron, they got Soul Point, they are 10,000 gold ahead. And this one is just absolute domination here.
So beautiful to see as well, because Closer was not having, I think, his best year in spring.
Yep.
Like, he was so good. Part of that Golden Guardians run in 2020, the most roster came over to 100 Thieves, and he was not the same player throughout the spring split. But games like this, like these are the games I remember him for in the previous year. Yeah, not every single one went 10-1, but he was so big, and he's doing it again now. Abbedagge is forced to run away. Like, Jensen is the one strong member. You know, he's got 2 completed items. You know, the shield blow and the Ruin King, that's not bad. He's 3-1, but I mean, also everyone on the opposing team is so fed. Like, even though he's doing well, everyone else is bigger.
And the biggest problem is, despite the fact that he would definitely win against the Soul Laners in an extended 1v1, they don't have to take it, right? They're not going to opt into that. They're just going to back up because they know everywhere else is winning. Jensen's the only strong member on the map, so whoever's matching Jensen, just don't fight Jensen. And guess what? The 4v4 is unwinnable for TL.
The way 100 Thieves lose is someone taking an ego fight. Because like, oh, we're ahead, we're winning. What? Viego's so overpowered. It's like, just chill. Just like, put your ego in check, chill out, let your team win, and just be okay. And Abbedagge doing that, right, knocks on the minions, stays out of range of Jensen's engage tools, and good to go. Collect your paycheck, collect your win.
I mean, surprise, surprise, the game isn't about the 2, 3, and 1 Lee Sin. So you can just sit there, you can push in the minions, you can say, thank you, Closer, yes, Closer.
Yes, Closer.
Would you like the blue buff, Closer? I'll leash that for you. Yes, sir, right away.
Absolutely. That said, some games have been about that 2, 3, 1 Lee Sin. We've been there.
They like to think it is, but it's really not.
Yeah. Oh, well. Someday, slowly pushing to the top side, Jenkins can try to wave clear, but you can see the cannon minion just whittling down that inhibitor turret. Someday doesn't even walk into auto attack range, just dances around, tries to keep Akali threatened. And okay, it's time for the big play, right? Jenkins tries, he pops the first shield, but R2 is down, so Someday ults and walks away. And now he wants a bit more, finds the clap back, but Equalizer might set it up. Oh, that is a Zonia's Hourglass, and the aggressive play comes in to bite 100 Thieves in the back.
Yeah, they could have just backed off. You know, you still have push on the other sides. Are you going to go in?
Yes, they are. Core JJ puts the ulti down. Azonia's he's going to keep Closer safe, but Lee Sin is there. Tactical jumps back to safety. Here comes Closer in for 1. Low health bars, though. Can he get the chase down? He cannot. The lockdown is too good. 100 Thieves keep the Diana alive. Mr. President is still there. The Lunari will rise again. Abbedagge still on the front. They're going to find Jenkins yet again, still ultiless. A big triple stun from Huhi. That means Jenkins is down. Core JJ is next. FBI shuts him up, and another couple of shots go in towards Tactical's face. 1 man left alive. I have seen this play. It's not the Vayne, it's everybody else who's diving the turrets. FBI is the 1 man who does not sin, as the rest of the squad will have to give up the chase despite 4 deaths. they're not enough alive to close the game out.
Abadaga just wanted to get to do one fun thing this game.
He got to solo kill a Kali.
That's true. That was too long ago, Freak.
That's
That
true.
was like 25 minutes ago. He's looking to have some fun here on the extra dive. In they go. Closer with the nice timing on the Zonias here. And then Abadaga pushing Tactical back, but it is Huhi clapping multiple members together. And the difficulty is, even though you push Closer out, Vayne is still just really strong at this point in the game, and Akali does not have ulti, because they went for the play on the top side. So Jenkins did not have the ultimate to actually be able to execute FBI, or maybe this is that different fight. But there again, Hui finding the engage. They kill off Core JJ, and then Abadaga, he's feeling himself. He decides to go for it. Flashes in even, gives over the shutdown, but not going to matter too much. They're still enormously ahead, 13,000 plus gold lead. Ocean Soul here available in 45, so you don't even have to press too heavily if you don't want to. More defensive-ish items coming through. The Bloodthirster now for Vayne. Again, I like this style. You are so far ahead as far as the gold lead goes. You just need to make sure that you're not instantly dying. And whatever stats you got, those are going to carry you through. You're just so rich.
My fantasy points are thinking how 100 Thieves is playing this game out, though, right? Dragging
I
a little bit longer.
On my fantasy.
I'm 100 points down coming into the day, and I was like, please a bloodbath, please a bloodbath. And I've got Huhi.
Play for Elder, slow it down.
So the problem is, Abadaga is one of my 100 Thieves players, not like Closer or Someday or FBI. So,
hate to see it happen.
You know, Huhi is there, he's doing well. So we have that one in common at least, and we're going to have the Ocean fight coming in pretty soon. Here comes the first dunk on in. Core JJ stunned, but he's very tanky. Yes, Lee Sin on the flank. Diana comes in, finds the first kill. Here comes Lee. Goodbye Tactical to stay alive, but doesn't even matter. It's already 2 kills picked up. It's just not going to be enough. Tactical finds a single kill, and they might not find another. Trying his very best, and it's not going to happen. FBI finalizes the 4th kill. Tactical left alone. Here comes Someday. Tactical's not going to have anywhere else to go. Lee Sin gets to follow the queue, and it's Someday who finds the kill. The Bud Light Ace finally for 100 Thieves. 26 kills in 30 minutes. We got ourselves a bloodbath, and we got ourselves a dominant team. 100 Thieves temporarily tie for the most wins in the LCS, awaiting TSM in 20 minutes. But they have been looking good. 7-2 so far in these 3 weeks. What a win over Team Liquid.
What a fun game to watch here. So many individual outplays. Both teams playing with the utmost confidence here, scrapping it out. We saw it from level 1. We saw back and forth solo kills on the top side. These teams were going at it. And this game was so much, I felt, about individual mechanical outplays, about the slight differences in some of these fights, in some of these scraps that then became a landslide game for 100 Thieves, as they were the ones that were getting those outplays in the fights. They were the ones that were coming out on top, better coordinated and better executed in a lot of these fights. And at a certain point, it just no longer mattered if Teal had the good play because they were just too far down.
Yep. Closer was a Smurf this game, by the way. Yes, outstanding performance on the Diana. Anytime, like the players there heads us off, I will be happily to cheer those players on. That was such a fun game. I want 100,000 of those. I want an entire season of games like this. Really, really good games. Really, really highly skilled play. Bangers the whole way through. We got scraps in every lane. It was outstanding.
I loved it. That was a really, really fun game here. Honestly, like there have been some messy games in LCS, but there have been so many fun games. I feel like this split, like so many crazy endings with base races and ridiculous scenarios and these crazy team fights to actually finish things out. I've been having so much fun being back in the studio. I feel like the players are re-energized here. You can see Closer getting ready behind us. So we're going to get an interview with him. Surprise, surprise.
Wise choice.
He's probably going to be player of the game.
Yeah. So I know production asks us, I actually heard Kobe and Flowers do this yesterday as well, where they're like, we get asked like between the calls, like, hey, who's your player of the game? But it's like sometimes you just say it out loud. You're like, hey, by the way, it's Closer. Player of the game, Closer. Anyone debating here in this one? No? Okay, good. Yeah, this is very obvious. I mean, absolutely huge. Like really, really beautiful plays from him. And I mean, Zone isn't going to Kali ult. Like that is only intuition. Like it is not humanly possible to react to a Kali ult from 30 units away. You would just die if you didn't guess he was going to press the button and hit Zhonya's on time.
Yeah.
So like he like won rock paper scissors in like way higher stakes than that game looks like normally.
And I mean, we saw so many cool individual outplays, right? You know, even on the TL side, they had some really good ones. You know, Jenkins, I think, using the Shroud to actually cancel the Lee Sin kick on the top side to get that 1v1 kill against Abadaga. Even Tactical, reactively flashing to who he's flash clap coming in. If you were a split second late, he instantly dies there.
That got predictive too, by the way.
Yeah, there was some really incredible plays here, but it was all about closer at the end.
Yes.
He reigned supreme. This man was crushing it.
He was crushing it, and now we're going to head over to the stage for our Verizon post-game interview with Latigris and our player of the game, Closer.
Thank you, Freak. So, Closer, why is your Diana so good?
I think it was a really good Diana game, and I kind of popped out on some team fights. And after some point, like, I was pretty fast and unstoppable, so it was a good game, yeah.
Yeah, super fun to watch for anybody that was also checking in the pro view, tracking you the entire time. And at moments, we're thinking, okay, what about the Viego on the other side? What about the Akali? How much were you focused on making sure that they couldn't get into any funny business?
I knew that if I'm getting strong enough, like I can 1v5 the fights because they didn't really have a CC to stop me. And once I got like a triple kill on bot lane, I knew that game's over.
Yeah, it felt like it was over in just the moments you went in with the Moonfall sometimes. How much have you been practicing Diana, especially considering her surge in popularity?
I mean, to be honest, I really want to play this pick. I was practicing it for a long time, but this game was the right game, I guess. Since they've been banning our like Karma, Lulu, Zinzal like every game, I felt like this was a Diana game. And I feel like people started to forget me, so I want to say I'm still here.
Very memorable. Is it a surprise to you that you got player of the game today?
No, not at all.
Not to the audience either. We will get a chance to continue breaking down this game on the other side of the break, so make sure you stay tuned for the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Lion!
Ah, yes, the king of the jungle. Time for a Red Bull.
Red Bull? Still, you'll never be faster than a lion!
I don't have to be quicker than the lion, just faster than you.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome back to the LCS, where we just saw 100 Thieves take down Team Liquid. That game was an absolute blast, start to finish, in so many different ways. So we are going to start in Champion Select because both teams coming to the table with some interesting stuff. But most notably from 100 Thieves side, you got both the Diana in the jungle for closer. You got the Vayne down there in the bot lane. Mark, you told me the 100 Thieves does not like to play scrappy, go get 'em bot lanes. You said they will shy away from that. They're just going to long range poke the turret.
It's a trend. Not that they can't. I mean, we know that who he set is incredible, so the flex down there was nice to see. And the Vayne is something that I'm usually kind of critical of, but in this instance where it's literally 4 melee versus 4 melee, not a ton of lockdown CC on the side of Team Liquid, that's a playground for Vayne to just tumble around these assassins who are trying to lock her down while she goes in and out of invisibility and has the ability to pick her moment. So I actually really like this draft.
Yeah, and also the Vayne allows you to scrap bot lane, right? Because Vayne is particularly good into Ezreal because Ezreal's skill shot based. And they can just tumble around and condemn and do all these things.
Hard to hit someone you can't see.
Exactly, you know, and I think that's part of the reason they were able to win bot even with the fasting Vayne and carry set that we saw. So yeah, it could have had problems after lane, you know, if things didn't go well, but they did, so it didn't.
Well, and then you heard the casters talking about that game ending 26 kills in one camp, like 11 or so in the other. Very high kill game, and those kills started from minute 1. Pre-5 minutes, there was a kill in every single lane. We had the scrapping in the bot lane. That's where it all started. Quickly to the mid lane, and then cascading towards the top.
Yeah, this was a really fun game to watch. It was one of those ones where like you start building analytical points and like halfway in the game you're like, scrap it.
Just give me a highlight reel.
Yeah, this thing was...
Just give me a highlight reel.
These flash predictions were so sick. You heard the casters talking about it, but a little bit just too weak in the early game for...
Except for this. This was unfortunate.
You know, it comes for us all, the 60 ping. So
Yeah, that's what it is.
he got behind me somehow.
Yeah, and you know, this is a game where 100 Thieves, they pretty much were ready to fight in every single lane, right? You pick the Renekton to support the Diana so that anytime she comes to lane, if Viego's too far pushed up, that's a free kill. We saw a lot of scrapping top with Abadaga and Jenkins. Obviously, in this clip, you know, Abadaga got the better of him, but then Jenkins had a pretty insane outplay with the Shroud versus the Lee Sin ultimate there. So this is a game where I think 100 Thieves wanted to be hyper aggressive. You want to create basically a moving wall for Vayne later in the game, and it worked brilliantly.
I was disappointed that Abadaga dodged out on the Jensen matchup. He was scared. He saw Holland. He moved. He ran to the top lane to go against Jenkins.
Yeah, we did all that talking about how this matchup might determine who is the king in the mid lane here in Summer Split. And now we'll have to wait till the rematch, I guess, to figure that one out for certain. But as the rest of this plays out, again, all this happening before 15 minutes just shows you how high action a game this was. And while it was 100 Thieves slowly building advantages, we heard Closer say in the interview, for him, it really came off the back end of 2 kind of team fighty skirmishes where they were able to catapult ahead.
Yeah, and then they catapulted even further. You can see in this clip, this is a 100 Thieves perspective where it looks like basically they're seeing what the viewers are seeing, which is everything, right? And, you know, Core, he goes to try to ward off the jungle, tries to secure some vision. They immediately jump on him. And at this point, you know, at some point, I think Closer had like a 50 CS lead on Santorin. Santorin just couldn't even enter his jungle at all, right? And this is what we've been seeing from 100 Thieves. Not only do they have the good early game, not only do they have a flexibility, but what they also have is the ability to choke out the opponent once they have a lead, which is why this team is looking like the strongest in the league right now.
Yeah, that is a masterclass right there in how to take a lead and extend it even further by completely choking out the opposing team in both their vision and their camps, the gold and XP at their disposal. And so while the whole team kind of accelerated from that point, Mark, it became the Closer show.
It was the Closer show. Let's be real. You know, we talked this early game getting all scrappy, but then someone suddenly ended up with double-digit kills, and it was Closer in the jungle showing a mastery on the champion. Sounds like he's been practicing it for a while. He's not one of these late adopters to it. It's been bubbling under the surface for a little bit now in competitive play, and he finally got to show it off on stage today. It looked incredible, and he was so fed. He, on third item, could pick up death cap from the jungle position. Usually you're going a little bit more efficient, in air quotes, of a item like a void staff to get through some defenses. He could just go the death cap. He was so goddamn fed.
Yeah, and normally as Diana, you're looking for him to, you know, Q, then ult in, E, clump everyone together, and then your team finishes him off. Closer's like, no, I'm so fat, I'm just gonna kill them myself and go in. So I love this look from Closer, and you know, we've seen a lot of Xin and Rumble from him over the course of the split. I think on the Xin pick in particular, we've seen that 100 Thieves is investing in him as a carry, and he's justified that.
Is 100 Thieves the best team in the LCS in Summer Split?
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
Boom. Decidedly so.
Toss to break. No.
Get us out of here.
You heard it. You heard it from the man himself.
No, we can talk about why.
You know what?
Why,
I mean, if you want to tell me, I don't know. Mark was like, he was dangling a little carrot in front of us. It was a joke. Tune in next week to find out why 100 Thieves is the best team in the LCS. For now, we got to head to a break. When we come back, we're breaking down TSM and Cloud9. We'll see you here in just a bit.
We were ready to talk.
I'm sorry. That's on him.
Killed the segment.
You did it. It was your choice.
Change of range.
They're going to start with some damage, but can you ever get away? No, you're not. This is going to be first blood off the bat. 4:21 into the game, first blood.
Vika delivers, and he's been that member that now is like the jungler to beat for a lot of these players in the league.
Oh,
Danny's still alive.
And Svenskar is still alive as well. Danny flashed on, chased out by Udyr. Both these junglers putting on heroics as it's Vika's turn to show up.
Perks has been over 9,000 at this point.
His team fights were exceptional. So, like, that's what you expect from Perks.
Over the wall comes Perks, baby, and it's Cloud9's fight for the taking.
But now take a look at Dreams.
Oh, nope. What's going to happen here? Jose Dioto finds him.
Welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk. TSM are taking on Cloud9, and as two of our most storied orgs, there's quite a bit of history between these two teams, and if you're all right with it, Mark, we're going to get into it.
You have my permission to carry on?
Thank you very much, Mark. So, Kaizen, take it away. Talk to me about history.
Thanks for the permission, Mark. So there's about 95 games worth of history between these teams, and C9 actually leads in most of them, but TSM has the other side, and arguably the more important side, which is championships. They've won 7 to C9's 4, and every time these teams meet, it is like a verified slapper. So I think this time, you know, the narrative is a little bit different because C9 might be considered the favorite by a lot of people. They won last split. They're coming off of, you know, an international one where they got a lot of good practice in, but they're also a team that changed their roster. TSM hasn't, you know, so it's going to be really interesting to see because not only have both of these teams sort of been upgrading their roster with $5 or $6 million imports, they're also trying to refine their play styles, and we saw the Renekton mid, you know, that maybe we're not going to see again. We've seen the Lucian that, again, maybe we're not going to see again. But the things that maybe we will see again are things like the LeBlanc on PoE. You know, these more aggressive looks from TSM that will allow them to thrive. So I'm personally really interested to see which kind of style these guys are going to stick to in this game.
We have to consider, too, that historical look is holistic, right? And so that does incorporate every version of every roster that these teams have sported, all the way back from the days of the OG Cloud9 dominance that we saw, where probably a lot of those regular season game wins came from, to where we are at now with both. And while these orgs themselves have compelling stories, these teams are also defined by their junglers at this point, Spica and Blabber, who took their first step in professional journeys together in 2017.
Yeah, so fun fact, I was covering the scouting grounds as a journalist, and I actually followed Spica's team with TSM. I remember when Parth picked him in draft, and he was like, we don't know who this kid is, because everyone knew Blabberfish too, right? Like, seriously, going into that draft, everyone, like, Blabber wasn't, I don't want to say a known quantity, but people knew exactly how good he was. And Spica, you know, Parth was like, I don't know who this person is. He's just been popping off in solo queue. Like, let's bring him on the team. Let's see what he's about. And that's actually why he ended up getting picked super high in the draft. So it was really fun to watch that team, and I think not that TSM had like any sort of control over him, because obviously he went to Echo Fox. He ended up going back to high school to finish out high school and ended up on TSM significantly later. But I do think from this scouting grounds experience, they definitely kind of put a pin on him and were like, okay, this is someone we want to watch out for the future.
Stacked draft class, too. Vulcan.
Yeah,
I was about to say, Vulcan's
actually.
just sandwiched right there between Spica and Blabber.
Best North American support just sneaking in while we're talking about the junglers. But no, it is true. Like, these were people who were on the come up for quite a while, and you can see along that graph that like it wasn't instantaneous for either of them. Even that, you know, that 2018 World Semifinals for Blabber, he was really backing up Svenskeren for that. And so it's really only the last 2 years that both of them have started to break onto the scene. Spica getting his Worlds appearance last year, and I'm excited to see where they go now, because it is still in a lot of ways the early part of their careers. This is not even the midpoint for either of them, probably.
Yeah, I know one of my favorite things going into this year actually is when we figured out that Spica was the most tenured like TSM person
for
on
like
the
half
roster.
a split.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, we're just like, okay. Another thing to point out about these junglers, just in terms of play styles, is they've kind of been playing a few different things. I've loved Spica when he's been able to get involved with his lanes a little bit early on as the jungle meta has shifted. So I really think that a lot of what these teams want to do start with a focal point around their jungles.
Yeah, and I think this whole year, Spica has been the fulcrum for TSM.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
Even last split, you know, when they were more focused on late game and team fighting, you know, he was doing his job, right? He was securing objectives. So many steals this guy has gotten over the course of the year. And now he's in this more proactive meta where they're looking for him to influence lanes. He's constantly doing that. So I'm really interested to see Spica sort of continue to step up as a leader and basically the tip of the spear for this team. Whereas Blabber, the trajectory's been a little bit different. different. Granted, C9 has not looked nearly as dominant as they did in spring, but Blabber individually has not looked like the MVP caliber player that we know that he is. So I think, honestly, Speak has been the better performer up to this point, so it's going to be fun to see if Blabber can step up here.
Yeah, I think Blabber has been oftentimes the focal point for his teams, like you're saying. Like, you key off of Blabber's aggression, and when a player like that starts to struggle, it becomes very apparent. And I think you saw that at MSI and carrying over a little bit here into the regular season, whereas Spica plays more of the facilitator style. And when he's really popping off, it's often like, damn, look at these other guys go in. They look incredible. But I like what I've seen out of him this time around, being a little bit more individually minded for Spica, especially in the current jungle meta where it does feel things like Diana and Xin and all these scrappy junglers have the ability to take over.
Getting a quick look at the Honda MVP mural that just went up into the lobby of the LCS.
That's pretty dope.
That's so dope.
Yeah, it looks really cool,
We don't
actually.
have you audience members in here, but it's the first thing we get to see when we walk into the studio every day, and it is as sick as it looks in that video. But back to your point about, kind of the struggle that Cloud9 is on, I think it's emulated by that kind of deep dive look at the statistics for both of these guys in summer, because you expect when Cloud9 is doing well for Blabber to be top of every category, because it largely does seem to revolve around the action that he's creating on the Rift, where right now Speak is out indexing him in those areas. And so it's definitely a tough position to be in, I think, for Cloud9. And as we continue to talk about this matchup, we're going to do something a little fun here, a little different. We've done it before in the past, but it's been a bit. We're doing Champion Select from the Analyst Desk. Let's dive into it.
Yeah, so interesting to see that C9 immediately bans a Rumble. We know that TSM loves this pick because Huni is arguably the best Rumble, maybe the best laning Rumble in the league, according to some. And Spica is also very comfortable on the pick. We know that he knows how to influence lanes, and then in team fights, which is TSM's bread and butter, they like to have that equalizer to sort of part fights, catch people in the back line. And then the Nocturne ban also makes a lot of sense.
I was gonna say, like, a lot of people are banning that out against TSM specifically, but also it's just a really good laning ban. Karma out and Akali out. I'm actually super glad to see the Akali out.
I'm not. I still like watching Akali a little bit. But I do like the general idea, as well as the red side Gwen ban, blue side, is a bit of a show that they don't want to play C9 in this really scrappy, assassin-heavy gameplay when you factor in the Akali as well. And with the Lulu first pick, it is confirming.
Let's go.
For me, TSM wants to play front-to-back standard team fight.
What are the chances we get the Renekton run back?
On C9 side?
Yeah.
Zero.
You think zero?
Really quick. I think the Xin is
I'm gonna go with a non-zero chance, but still unlikely.
Yeah, I mean, it's non-zero. I mean, they did draft Xin, who, is an AD jungler, and Renekton Xin is an extremely oppressive early game. So, I don't think the issues that Pertz has had with Renekton are issues with him playing bruisers in general. So if they want to run it back, I wouldn't be surprised.
Lulu Cog.
Ooh, Lulu Cog. Okay, so leaning into the team fight.
Yeah, I love Lulu Cog, actually. Obviously, again, TSM early look, we're looking for front-to-back team fight with Lulu buffing the Cog. It's been around for a while. For those that don't know, it basically allows Cog to frontline with no, with lesser recourse, I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, the Juggernaut days have been nerfed a little bit, but like you see here with the Volibear lock, and they clearly want that front to back like we were talking about. And I think this is the playstyle. We've debated this quite a bit behind the scenes, is like, what should TSM be doing? And I think especially in a high-profile match like this, where you're asserting for number one.
in here?
Not
quite what you're going for? Okay,
Yeah.
understood.
Yeah, I think it's unlikely that they draft the Lucian here because, again, if you're playing team fight, you don't need to get a huge advantage early game in order for Lulu Cog to make sense. So I would expect PoE to go from more of a typical control mage. He's, favored Victor, for example. That would fit totally fine in here. But, a pick like, for instance, LeBlanc or Lucian. Lucian, I think, is definitely no. There's a outside chance of LeBlanc.
LeBlanc just getting banned.
I also like the bit of a flex TSM has with the Lulu pick, because right now it looks on paper like matched picks in the first phase. So you have bot lanes and junglers, but in theory the Lulu can swap around a little bit
They banned out Braum on C9 side, so they think it might.
She can go top or mid.
It's one of the advantages TSM's draft have right now is that they're not actually pinching themselves necessarily, whereas C9 is kind of arguably wasting bans with that Braum ban.
Right, they pull the Braum ban out of Cloud9. We'll see if it's intended, that TSM was going to put the Lulu elsewhere other than bot lane.
I think the Ori ban is good too, because obviously it's a PoE special. I know a lot of people argue with me about this, but I feel like Orianna fits in so many different styles of team composition. So yeah, and then Aurelia last ban.
Yeah, that's a Fudge respect ban.
Fudge and Perks can play.
Yeah, Perk is a really excellent Aurelia player.
He's a really good Aurelia player, and also Aurelia Xin Zhao would give a lot of pressure mid jungle, which TSM I don't think wants to have to deal with early game. So. Yeah, personally, I think it makes a lot of sense for TSM to even ban out the LeBlanc, right? They're saying, look, we want a really, really like conservative, straightforward early game. We think we have the mid and late. And on C9 side, now they're starting to draft more split push, more options like the Nautilus to sort of zero out the cog early game. So I expect C9 to draft picks that allow them to actually try to punish bottom and get TSM out of the state where they can just farm into late game.
The one concern I have, as I like the Lee Sin pickup here for TSM, is that C9's comp's indexing very heavily on physical damage.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was like, this is an 80 heavy team composition.
And TSM, in the current meta, when you have like 4 melee divers, a lot of them are not going to itemize armor that easily, but when you have front to back in the form of the Lee Sin and the Volley Bear, you actually have people who can build these armor items and become incredibly difficult for C9 to deal with.
Well, so as Victor is picked up as the last champion for TSM side of things, we are confirmed to have Lulu going down to the bot lane. My question becomes, in that conversation around heavy AD, what's the solution? What's the final pick here on C9's side to kind of assuage those concerns? Is there anyone that deals enough damage in the form of magic?
I mean, you can always go match Control Mage with Control Mage, but that's not very common in the current meta, and I don't think it's necessarily the style that matches with the rest of C9's team comp. So I'm a little bit worried if they do end up matching with the Control Mage like Syndra.
There you go.
It's a little bit more early game oriented than some of the other Control Mages, so it's still playing with that, mid jungle 2v2 style a little bit more, but it is a little bit surprising to see the Syndra reached for.
Yeah, and I don't think this is a situation C9 wanted to be in, to be honest.
Really?
I doubt they're going into this game saying, hey, we want to play Xin Syndra. That said, it is an option for them to try to punish PoE, off of, because again, they do have the stronger mid jungle, but at this point in the game, the LeBlanc was banned out. They really, really needed magic damage, so they're just sort of just forced into that corner.
Well, we see up top that the fans feel that TSM won champion select. That's kind of the indication I'm feeling.
with the fans, baby.
I
agree with
you
the fans.
as well.
I'm with the fans. I do think that if C9 can make some early proactive plays, especially, Xin, we didn't call it out earlier, but it's been an incredibly successful pick for Blabber this split. So if he can get involved early and attack TSM early, I think it could end up going a little bit better for them. But I'd give the slight edge to TSM's draft because I think they'll be able to it's comfort, it's team fight, it's everything that they want to be playing.
Yeah, and in looking to C9, they did draft a Jace, right? And NA Jace, the whole meme and everything, but it is actually legitimately kind of hard to play around Jace. I think TSM's comp is just much more straightforward to execute. It's much more in their wheelhouse. So I think TSM won certainly from a stylistic comfort perspective.
And this is also one of those drafts too for C9. If they snowball topside, we're all going to look like idiots because they have those theoretically pretty good lanes. I do like the Lee Sin into Jace. It can sometimes work out for you. But if Syndra gets control topside, Zin's moving up there and they're diving and making plays. It could snowball really heavily for C9, but if it goes mid to late game relatively even, you're looking for a TSM win.
Jace was a part of that perfect game for Cloud9, but as the players themselves are loading onto the Rift, it is my time to hand it back over to the casters for the call. Gentlemen, enjoy.
Thank you, Dash. Welcome back. Doug Duo still reporting in. I saluted. You can't see it, but I did it. As I testify.
did not.
Oh, that's okay. Either way, TSM and Cloud9 are ready to do battle. TSM started the day in first place. They can continue to hold that if they win. Otherwise, if a Cloud9 win comes through, three-way tie for first among Cloud9, TSM, and 100 Thieves. Regardless, these are two exceptionally strong teams, but TSM 6-2 in summer to Cloud9's 4-4. They have not found consistency.
Yeah, they've performed better than Cloud9. For TSM, their struggles are more around mid-Lucian, and there's some talks about do some of these picks actually fit them or not. Cloud9 looking for an early move here, trying to sweep out a ward. They were expecting to be in Pixel there. Didn't find anything. Not much of a cost, but I think there's a lot of pressure on Blabber this game. You have got to be snowballing this game, and if you want to check out his point of view, it's the free Pro View matchup this game, Blabber versus Spica, because Blabber is on this squad that is playing a very early game focused team. This is a team that has got to play from ahead, right? You have no shot in an even footing 5v5 later on in the game.
And by the way, since we keep calling out things that are going on around the game as well, if you want to catch the audio-only cast of the games, you can do that as well. you're out and about and, you know, you don't want the visuals or anything else, it's available through League Day, so be sure to check that out as well. Meanwhile, though, we've got this game going on. Fudge definitively on the Jace says, okay, I want to play split push. In my mind, it is very hard to find yourself in a 5v5 where you beat Lulu Kog'Maw.
Yeah.
It's just hard to index on strong enough team fighting and other roles that you overpower what that brings. So I'm like, okay, Cloud9 probably playing for split push. But as Syndra came in, she is not a dedicated split push champion really either.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I think it's just about early game, right? It's about early power. It's about skirmishing and fighting, you know, actually 4v4s, 5v5s around early dragons where their champions have a lot of power. Because they pretty much are kind of like down as far as team fight goes in every single role, right? You can argue like Ezreal versus Kog as far as like the situations in which those would be successful, but Victor is generally considered, you know, the better scaling mid laner. I would say Volley outscales the Xin, but they're looking for early action. They're looking to set up a dive here.
Level
Huni
3
has
versus
flash.
level 2.
He's
Blabber
like
is
full
here.
health.
How much can they make this one happen? And they're waiting it out. The E is on cooldown. They're not going for the knockup. Now they've got perks, so is it going to be round 2 here? Blabber finds the knockup. Jace follows through. Huni flashes. Blabber drops the aggro, and Perks is there as well. Fudge will lose his life, but Huni will lose so much of this experience.
Yeah, and I think it's still worthwhile. He's not going to lose that much, honestly, though. Maybe 2 or 3 minions of actual XP because he does have that TP and the short death timer. Still a good move. You've got to be proactive with this style of composition. You can see, though, TSM are actually ahead on gold because they got the kill back. Blabber is 3 camps behind right now. Yes, he has those camps to pick up, but Volley did a 6 camp clear when he spent all that time top. You're actually sharing XP with the Jace, so I would actually think that Jace is actually behind on experience off of this play because of the time spent up there. Spica, though, looking for potential play here on Perks, who does have his flash, but Volibear, pretty powerful early game jungler here with the PTA. You can look to set up some plays, and we're going to see this dive one more time. There's just no shot of doing this in a 2v1 dive, honestly, with Huni at full health and still having his flash. So they have to wait for Syndra, but it's such a big investment of time. You know, Perks did shove in mid lane, so that is working for them. They get the knock up here from Blabber. He tries to tank as long as he can. Perks comes in, the knockback into another combo from him. So it's pretty well executed. Blabber, though, I think he should have taken one more tower shot. If he took one more tower shot, I think Fudge actually walks out, so a slight error there from him. And had they gone deathless on that, it's really good. As is, it's like, okay.
Right. The thing I'm looking at, because I agree with your point about the XP and gold, you can see, okay, there's minions still to farm, so yeah, it's going to be a lead for Fudge.
He'll be up to CS.
Is Fudge kept his summoners. He has his TP and his flash, so this means the repeat gank is easier, but also, that is a nice knockback there, so good damage on a Huni. But there's going to be some lane state where the TP is going to matter.
Yeah, and I agree with you, but it's not a guaranteed, right? You've got to then make that punish happen. TP advantage is fantastic, but if you just sit there and farm for 5 minutes and nothing happens, well, guess what? Who cares, right? It didn't do anything for you. So the onus is, again, on Cloud9 to then get back there and punish. It's often about that second play where you really get the biggest advantages in top lane. Even if the first one gets you a kill, when they immediately TP back, it's sometimes not that big of a deal, especially because he did get the trade kill there, and Fudge did not get the kill himself. So it's not actually changing the parity of that lane. You know, Huni will be actually up in gold in the 1v1. So they need to get that repeat gank. They need to try to kill him off again, and that's where he will really hurt. Because if you die again with no TP and you lose plates off of it, you lose the experience off of it, all of a sudden Jace is now running that lane.
And we're going to look to see Syndra running her lane. Perks here on the Syndra has roamed better, has more CS, has first blood, has a 600 gold lead. Perks right now, it's his world, and TSM are living in it. And I want to see what Elton Syndra can do. It's the last pick of the draft. He saw every other champ and said, this is what I want. This is how we win the game. It's off to a good start, but he's got to keep going because there is always the threat of lost in the 5-on-5 with Lulu buffing up his Kog'Maw. It's always going to be tough for Cloud9 to deal with.
The clock is ticking, and these games, at least in my mind, are always stressful. When you know that the opponents have a composition that is going to straight up outscale you, that you must create advantages, it sometimes pushes you into these spots where you're feeling pressured to get something done, and maybe you don't go for the best plays. You've got to be really on point with your execution. You've got to force plays, but at the same time, if you force a bad play and you try to overdive and they get a couple kills on Cog or something,
now you're behind and they outscale.
It's lights out.
All right, fighting for the bottom river now. Blabber and Spica see each other. Spica sweeps for the wards, is okay, no problem. But the bot lane is under the control of TSM. Thankfully for Blabber, he had enough room himself that he smited off the shield, then went for it. And Blabber, because Perks had control of mid, Was able to do that pretty safely. Speaker could not join in on that one. Good damage out for Perks. Ult goes in, nearly gets the kill.
Oh.
Yeah, tight timings there. 80 health after a couple seconds of potion.
Man, that's crazy. I'm not going to blame him for buying a tier or anything like that, but if you have an amp tome there, you actually maybe kill, right? Because it's multiple rounds of spells there plus the ulti. Of course, tier is pretty needed, and you can't argue that maybe he would have just been out of mana, but they're looking for the return play. May have to flash here. We'll see if he can land the Scatter of the Week.
Okay, Flash Stun's going to land in. Victor over the top. No way out for Perks. Well played to Spica to land everything. And TSM 2-1 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, I guess Perks must have not had the E cooldown, or
I think it
was
down,
kind of saving it.
guessing.
But probably was on cooldown there, because I think you go for that early. He also didn't want to early flash, and then if you don't early flash, Power of Evil arrives, he flashes in, all the damage has already come through, so that by that time it is too little too late. Woo.
Nice try, Vulcan, to land the Q, but this is what happens when you don't land the shot. You lose a third of your health bar, and it costs TSM basically nothing. This is what can make these lanes so tough, right? Guardian exhaust on Lulu means neither target is very easy. Relic Shield as well. Again, you're trying to eliminate the win condition. It doesn't really matter how much gold Sword Art has. It doesn't really matter when a Cyto combines. It matters if Nautilus can kill someone in the 2-on-2. If you cannot, you win the lane every time.
Yep, absolutely. And that is the name of the game. And Lulu Kog is just one of these champions that it's always talked about as, hyperscaling, gotta watch out for the late game, but they win so many 2v2s as well. And that's where I think a lot of the power does come. It's not this champion where you're just getting blasted in lane the whole time, you're trying to barely survive, and then maybe you can do something at 30 minutes. Like, they're winning, right? Yeah. They're actually winning the 2v2, because guess what? Range supports are actually really good in 2v2. Where they struggle is, well, it's harder for Lulu to face check a brush and clear out a ward. It's harder for Lulu to survive a gank. But if that doesn't happen, 2v2 is great.
Man, gonna hit Blabber, needs to ult away. Not gonna do so for a while, though. Exhaust onto him, has to flash back to safety, does stay alive. Fuller over the top, though, slows 3. And Perks on his way out has to just barely live as the shots come through. Lost wants in, gets ulted, does not find the kill, but King can't do the same either. Physics shot's going to land, but there's no more damage available on the Cloud9 side. No one is dead. And they're kind of both walking away.
Yeah, I mean, Lost hard committed to getting that kill. Wasn't able to get it. I'm not sure if he just couldn't actually get in range, or, maybe his W expired, so he lost that for the final auto, but he was one auto away from killing Perks. Perks hits him with the ulti and sends him packing, and that was double summoners committed there from the Kog'Maw. So when he goes in, doesn't get the kill, spends his summoners, and loses his health, TSM lose their ability to take Rift Herald off that. So that was a high-risk play. And they could have just backed it up and taken Herald pretty much for free after that fight, because they won out so heavily in HP. But Lost goes for a bit of a hero play. It doesn't pay off. But there's not that big of a cost. It's just the lost opportunity of taking the Rift Herald.
It is. And double summoners down. What could have been a kill off by single auto attack. That could be tough to get right. Maybe his ult was out of mana as well, because the stack up. There's a lot of things that could have factored in there that were just sidestepped or miscalculated or who knows what.
And we got to check in top lane. We talked about summoner advantage. Huni's got him back. Nothing happened. Blabber did not make the return gank happen. He has been largely passive, just farming it up. He is up a little bit in farm after that initial play, so that's good. But you've got to make something happen. And now, to me, it's no longer about the top lane. It's about trying to punish wherever there aren't summoners. And that is Cog, right? Cog spent both the summoners there. So I would like to see C9 try to set up some sort of a play. If you can get a deep ward, look for a TP from Perks or from Fudge, or have Blabber get in there. Once Vulcan hits 6, you have that guaranteed point-and-click engage. And a Kog'Maw without sums shouldn't really be able to survive in that situation. But we are into a pause, and hopefully will be a quick one. You can see it looks like Huni may be talking with the refs there, but we'll let you know as soon as we find anything out.
Yeah, to your point about summoners being down, I remember the Lulu exhausted as well, right? So it really should be a fairly attackable lane. Curious if Perks can get down there, because it feels like he's had perennial control over mid. And it is just weird how hot and cold Perks has been, because we've had the Agent, 070, and we've had the, LeBlanc complete solo carry 1v5.
Yep.
We've had the Syndra game where I think he's been ace. Like, sure, a Volibear flashed on you once. At some point, that just happens. Like, what are you going to do about that? But his top roam was good. Like, he's been dominating mid as well. Yep. Like, right, nearly solo killed Pee-wee right afterwards. Like, he left the lane and then came back, and then at some point nearly solo killed the guy. Like, he's doing so much here on the Syndra. But we don't get that every time is the weird thing.
No, I mean, it has been a bit hot and cold. And to be fair, even during his time with G2, it's not like G2 is known for being the most consistent
True.
team, right? Like, there's a lot of jokes and memes about that, right? Is it going to be claps or craps? Is it going to be, up or down? Because G2 would have those games where they'd have a bad game. And everyone does have those bad games. And I think that when you are a kind of really confident, aggressive player like Perkz, your bad games look worse because he believes that he's going to make the play work every time. And when you start to get behind, those plays working out gets less and less likely, right? And then you can kind of have one of those 0-7 Renekton games or whatever. But to me, it hasn't just been about Perkz. It's been about Cloud9's inability to actually snowball early games, right? That has been some of their kind of greatest strength for a couple of years now. And in summer,